So, welcome everyone, and I'm really excited today that we are going to talk about something about Power Query and Power Automate. And thank you, Raheem, for inviting me, and thank you everybody for being participating over. So, I would just have a small survey on the form, which is over here. If you can just quickly fill up, that would be really great. Wow. I thought somebody would be using 95, Office 95. Have you ever used Raheem Office 95?
No, I have never used 95.
I have used 97. That was the last version I remember I used it.
Yeah, yeah. The ones which have a long menus.
Yeah, menus, yes. 97.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes, so I just want to show you that how the forms are like so responsive in Microsoft Forms, as we are just you are entering feeding the data over here and you can see how it is getting populated. So we can just see in the real time, the data how it is coming up, and we are getting a real time analysis that okay, how much percentage in your seminar uh, the people they are aware about the Power Query and they wish to learn something about the Power Query. So that's great. And I will just jump to the screen after some time. So let me go back to my presentation and we'll start over here now. So before I begin my presentation over here, so we were having, actually this is a course been organized by all the experts for the corona relief. So by all 25 experts where they have given us amazing tips and tricks we were talking about. And this is the course where the revenue will be 100% going to the charity, and there is an organization goal. So, and if you, I would encourage all of you that you can go and pay a visit to the course, and the course is costing for $10 and $20. So you can buy any one of them. The higher you can pay, if you're willing to pay high, then you can pay for $20. And this course is only valid for registration from 5th of May till 19th of May. So after that, all the registrations will be closed, and you have access for the course for 6 months. And so there is a lot of experts you can see. They're already over here, and and I'll be sharing that link also. So a little bit about me. I'm the owner of excelexciting.com. I write blogs and I manage the forums also over there. I'm a YouTuber. You must have seen me making videos on Excel where I make some animated characters on that. So my YouTube channel is with Faraz Shaikh. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, Moss master, and by profession I'm supply chain certified professional. So this is what quick about me. And what I do at Excel Exciting, I do consulting, I go give group training sessions, hourly mentoring services. So there are a lot of things we do at Excel Exciting. So today our goal is to work smart, not hard. So it happens many times that we are working, but we have to work really smart, but not hard. Why do we have to do it that way? Uh, of course, to stand out really different between the people whom we are. So we have to always stand out very unique. So in this one, I'll be showing some techniques and tips where how can we work smart but not hard. So uh, the tools what we have, which we are going to talk today about, is the Power Query and Power Automate. Well, let's me go back to our survey form and see what's happening over here. Excellent, excellent. So great. So people, those who have voted 5, I would need their help in the session. Okay, if anything goes wrong, then you guys have to help me out over here. And great. So let's talk something about Power Query, where Power Query, what it does, and we'll be seeing the techniques that how can we clean the data which is over here, and we will talk about XLOOKUP and VLOOKUP. How can we do it in the Power Query? How can we combine the multiple sources? And in Power Automate, we see the different triggers, and we'll see how can we send the bulk emails. So what is Power Query? Power Query is an ETL tool. What is ETL? ETL is nothing but extract, transform, and load. So whenever we have any kind of a data, we do the extraction, whether it's from CSV, it is from your databases, it's from your website. The first thing what we do when we get the data, we do is that we extract the data. And then after that, we do transformation. This is where all the magic happens in the Power Query. The transformation happens over here, where you clean the data, you shape the data, you give it, you organize it the way you need it. And then finally, we load it into Excel table, pivot tables, data connection to make different reports. So now here, today we have a scenario. Now, as you can see on the screen, we have uh, same data. Okay, we have some data for 2017 and 18, where we have uh, the different logistic shipments data, which is over here, and the sales data, where it says that, okay, what is the mode of the shipment and product type. And can you analyze something that what is being missing in this table, difference between these two tables? Can I see it is a chat window? Yeah, great. Channel type, right? And what else here? Channel type. Exactly. And with this data, what else we can do with this data? If this is a report, what you get it in front of you, what are the reports we can create? Any ideas about the reports? Yeah, we can create a report by the channel type. Excellent. Smile. Islam, yes, excellent. It's channel type report. Quantity sold, table pivot, great. Date wise, yes, wonderful. Yes, you can make it date wise data, year, month data. So we have varieties of options. But what about if I wanted to make a data uh, by the country itself? You can see the data over here where we have an origin over here where it says where we have the origin over here which says USA. That's the country. Now our challenge is that we need to extract that data and then we need to turn it out into a proper uh, a continental region. We have to change it that, but right now we don't have that data. So we will see that in the sessions how it will go. So let's see this scenario over here. So right now we are going to take the data from Excel files and the web data, and we are going to club it into one Excel file, and then we are going to make our report. So that is how the business scenario is right now. So what is the beauty of Power Query? It's a modern solution. What it does, just right click or just one simple click, refresh, and you get your results. So it's time for demo, and we'll be diving into the demo, and let's see how can we clean the data what we have it over here. Great. Great. So I have this data which is over here called webinar data. And now if you can see that we have this price table, we have quantity sold from 2019 to 11. And again, we have this quantity which has been sold from 2012 and 14. So let's quickly go and have a look to the data. It's very important that whenever you start cleansing of your data, just spend some time, understand the pattern of the data, understand the stuff what is being going wrong with the data. So here if you see the data which is over here, we have only thing what we need to do the clearing is a country of origin where we need to extract the countries over here, and rest other things it's okay. I need to connect my price table. So let's go and start the action. So I'm going to open a new blank workbook. Yeah, don't worry, my friends. You will get the files. I'll be sharing the files to Raheem. Okay, so let's go. Power Query in 2016 onwards, it's under data and under get and transform. So if you don't have 2016, 2013 and 10 onwards, you need to download a plugin. So that's an add-in. So once you download that add-in, then only you can run the Power Query. But right now I have Office 365 over here, and in that one we are going to do this cleaning of the data. So I'll go to the data ribbon tab. I'll go data, get data from folder, and then we are simply going to connect to our folder which is over here. Great. So when we connect this to our folder, we will get all the files, no matter what kind of files they are. It will be showing it in our this query editor pane over. This is the area where we can see the data. Now we can just simply go and hit transform because we know that our data is not clean. We have to do cleaning. We need to give a shape. So if your data is clean, you are quite confident, then you can simply hit combine and load or combine and transform. But right now I just need to do some cleaning step. So I'll go and I'll say transform data. So this is my query editor over here, and in this query editor, Power Query Editor, I will be have, you can see the files what are there, it's been listed over here. Now this is a query panes. I can see all my queries over here, and this is my setting windows, query settings, where I can give a nice name to my file which is over here called file path. Okay, so I know that this query is for the file path. Now I'm just going to take this query, enter. Okay, great. So I'm just going to take this query and I'm going to reference the query. I'll just go to the file path, right click, and I will say reference. So what is the difference between reference and duplicate? Duplicate will copy all the steps what you have done in this query, and reference will take just the action from the last step what has been done in the file path one. So let's say over here, now I will just do the cleaning of my file. I'll make it future proof that it shouldn't break in future. Like over here you can see sometimes some cap locks are open, so you have an Excel file which is Excel SX in the capitals. So I will go over here, say transform, and I will say make it as in lowercase. So I'm just telling that doesn't matter, whatever happens, make it this as a lowercase. And I have to make sure that I will just select only the XLS file. So I will just go and select over here as XLSX file only. Now rest, this is looks okay. Now after when now if I'll go the steps, now you can see the steps over here, source, lower text, and then the filtered row. Now when I will come to this query, you can see that steps has been copied and it has just taken the last step of that one. Now from here, I just need only the data which is having sales written. Now we have some files obviously receiving in many names: sales data 2013, 3-year sales data, backup sales data, old sales data. How many of us is having such kind of a data? How many of us gets like that kind of a data? How many of us we get such kind of a data? Have we received such kind of a data where you have the file names in a very different and very strange names? I oftenly get those kind of names when I work on data. Well, no problem. Well, let's see over here. Now we have done the step which has been lowered this case, and now in this file path, I just wanted to make sure that this is my sales data. SALE. So whenever I will have any kind of a file over here, which is related to the sales, it will appear over here. So in that case, I will just simply select over here and I will say text filter. Okay. I have selected the name and I have said text filter contains. So we have contains over here, and contains, that is what, nothing but it's called sales. Sale, because I have a data over here called sale. If I write sales, then it will look for sales. So I just need to make sure that I write it as a sale over here, and I'll select OK. So now only the data what is related to sales is appearing over here. Now we need to combine this data. So this is the power where it happens. So I'll just select these two columns, pressing my control key and right click, remove other columns because I don't need them anymore, and I'll just focus on this. So if I click on binary, don't click it, my friends. Never click it on the binary. If the file is only one, then you can click it on the binary. But if you need to combine them, then you can see this arrow over here. Just quickly zoom it over here for you guys. Okay, you can see this arrow. You can just simply click this one. And now Power Query is combining that file and it is giving me some sample files to see that, okay, what is going to happen? Okay, what is in your data? So now if you see over here, I got table over here and we have sheets also over here. Now table, if you see, if your data is stored into an Excel table, it will properly like give you in an Excel table. You can see that how it presents as a table. But if it is in a sheet, then it will show it in a sheet format. But right now here, I'll be selecting sheets because I know my data doesn't, all of my data doesn't have tables. So if I try to combine them, I might have a problem. So I will select here as sheet, and it has given me the first file as a sample file. I can just simply say, okay, no problem, boss. You can just go and combine them. And in the background, there are a lot of processes are happening where Power Query is quite smart enough and it will make all these custom function. Now, if you see that there are a lot of things have happened over here, there's nothing to worry. Okay, the Power Query has managed it, everything. Now, these files, you don't have to worry about it. Don't even touch them. If you know about M code, if you can debug M code, then you can feel free to do that. But if you're just simply using it, then don't touch these three files. So here is the transform sample file. So this is a file of that transformation sample file, what we have got it over here. But now here, if we go and see the sales data, and if you can see over here, we have got the sales data for all for all the files which are available over there. So this has basically combined it. It has filtered out. This was the last step what we have done over here. Okay, we have removed the columns. So it has checked whether if anything has an hidden file. It has invoked that custom function. That custom function is nothing but that transform one. It has then removed the others. It has taken that into column, and then expanded that column. So that is table is nothing but it is the data coming from two different files. So you can see over here, this is that file one, and this is that another file. And then it has applied the change step. Wonderful. So we are going great. Any questions so far, Raheem?
I guess there are no questions in the chat window.
Okay, great. So now once it has applied the change type over here, now whatever the transformation you need to do for your files, combined files, which is over here, you should always go and do it in the transform sample file. You shouldn't go anywhere else and do that one. The reason why, because whatever you will do it on the sample, that will get carry forwarded over here to the sales data. So if I do that transformation on file one, it will automatically apply for file one and file two. So let's go and do it over here, and we will say that, okay, fine, this is my origin over here. Now in this case, I just need to split by delimiter, and I can say the rightmost comma, which is over there. So in case if in my data, if I have two commas, then I can say that, okay, fine, the rightmost, which is there, just extract the data from there. And I don't need this origin one. I can just simply delete this one. I need the origin to be called as my country. And the beauty of Power Query C, it's if you have worked with VBA macro, if you have done, so as we keep applying the steps are being getting recorded. So this is the place where the steps are getting recorded. Now we have removed the columns. I have just removed the change type because I don't need that change type, and I'll come to that slowly, what we are going to do. And over here we have the quantity and everything looks good. Now I will go and apply the change type as date over here. Now even the date looks good, perfectly okay. Now this is a very good stuff what we have it over here. Oops, we have some errors over here. Great, great. Raheem, you have sent me the files with errors. No problem, my friend. Great. So in fact, no, Raheem has not sent me the file. This file I have created purposely to show for the demo that why are we getting these errors. So I will just simply filter and I will say over here that keep the errors. And let's go and see what is this error. This is a line error which says, if I click on the error, it will get into that step. So it says that data format error. We couldn't phrase out the input, the date value. So if you see over here, my system date settings, which is there, the locale setting, which is over here, it is saying that the month first, then the day first, then the year. Now, in this case, the pattern of the data which is I receive, okay, is having the month, it's the day first, then the month, then the year. Now, it's very important that whenever you clean the data, you force Power Query that to follow the locale setting. Now, how could we do this? How could we do this one? You just simply select this, right click, change type, and we will say using locale. So locale will force the system to use the correct locale setting, and it will interpret it. It doesn't matter you send the file to any of your friend or anybody in the organization, the Power Query will automatically interpret it and it will give you the result. So let's look over here. We have Pakistan over here, English Pakistan, and we have to select over here as a date. So now you can see it's written as 29/03/2016. Now you click OK. Wonderful. So we have no errors now. So this is very cool stuff which is available in Office 365. You can get it on view, and under view we can see it on the column distribution, and even you can have a column profiling, which I'll talk about shortly in this video. So we have this all information which is over here. We can just select the control, order number, country, and the product, and we can just go to home and say that this is nothing but it's a text data type. Okay, it's very important, my friends, that when you are working with Power Query, you have to give the correct data types, because what happens later on that when you are using these files into the data model, when you are putting it into the data model by doing pivots, and that time these uh, stuff is very much needed. So you have to declare it correctly so that the calculation and you can build the measures also correctly. Now this is my whole number over here. So this is looks good. So until now I have completed my transformation, and now I can see over here that I'm getting this error as a sales path over here. I cannot get that sales path. The reason why it's written origin over here. Now remember that file which we were having origin, it was not it was having the word origin, but the change type has hard coded that origin over here. So we need to remove this change type. So whenever you apply the change type on your combined file which is over there, always apply it in the last. That's the best practice to do it. So far everything looks good. So I can just simply say close and load to, and we have different place of loading the data, and we have it in tables, we have it in directly as a pivot table report, we have connections. So I'm just going to put it right now in connections, and this one is to the data model which I was speaking about, that you can put it into the Power Query. So let's say okay, I'm just building it as a connection as of now. So all your queries are being connected over here, and this is a query connections over here. Now the reason why I came out of that query editor, because I just wanted to see my price table. How is my price table? So my price table is getting loaded. Wonderful. We have an amazing, excellent price table over here. How many have you received such kind of a price table, my friends? Have you received such kind of a price table? Now we need to do VLOOKUP with this price table. Now, if you go back to our data, let's jump to our data. This is our original file. The first most important thing what I forgot to do is to save the file. Yes, so I'll just go and save the file, and let's see, and I'm going to save it on my desktop only. So that's called Excel BASE, Excel basement. Great. So if I need to access it back to my query editor, then I can just simply go over here, queries and connection, and I can just click on the sales data, which is over here. So I will go back to my query editor or any of the query. So now our challenge is that we need to bring that sales data, and let's see how that sales data look like. Okay. So we have this price table over here, remember? Now I'm just going to make it simply as a reference of this one, and I will call this as my price table. Okay, now if you have noticed something that my file is already open over here, that's why we got this tilde over here. Now we need to fix this problem as well. So if I refresh this, you can see that tilde is also over here. So I can go over here, filter doesn't begins with this tilde. The tilde is just next to your on the keyboard, just next to the number 1. So this is tilde, doesn't begins with tilde. And now you can see over here that stuff has been carried forward. Now we just need to select only the price table. Now, now this time I don't have multiple files of the price table. I just only have one price table. So I'll just simply go and select binary over here. Okay, now it has access to that specific sheet, and in that sheet what are the tables it will give me. So if I was having 2 3 sheets, then it would have been listed 2 or 3 sheets. But now over here, uh, we will just click on the table. We don't have to do anything else. So let's use first rows at headers. So any guesses, my friend, that how can we clean this data? Any idea that how can we clean it? You can free to unmute your mic and you can speak also, no problem. Transpose, wonderful. Okay, transpose, unpivot, wonderful. Celia, hi. Great, nice to see you. Wonderful, Celia. So, and what else we have? Transpose, yes, okay. Unpivot. Thank you, Mohammed. Yes, unpivot. Unpivot is a magical option available in Power Query. So what we can do over here, we can just go simply select our right click and unpivot other columns. Now unpivot other columns will just unpivot my data and it will just tag it below. Now this one, I have a data type which is change type over here. I can just delete the change type. I don't need that change type applied because I want to give my own data types. Sometime you might have seen that Power Query has given me that message to delete that, and the query might break. But so you have to be very careful that what step are you deleting. So here right now, I said that unpivot other columns. I'll just go over here and I'll say this is the currency. So currency will force it to go up to maximum 4 decimal points, and it will take the locale setting only of my system, existing system. So, and if you wanted to fix it to something certain like euros or something, then you can just simply go right click and change type and say using locale. And now this time my date, I'm very much confident that dates which are over here, they are maintained in the month, day, and then the year. So I have no worries. I can simply go and save them as a date. Cool. Now, if we try to do VLOOKUP, will this thing will work? Let's go and see our sales data. Now I need to VLOOKUP between 2019 data, and then I need to make sure that I match my products. So if I try to do it in this fashion, this will not help me. I need to just play around a little bit with my data. What I will do this time, that I'm going to go and add another column. I will say that go add column and add starting of the year. So now I'm going to generate a list from 1st of January 2004 to 31st of December 2004. So this is the list what I'm going to generate. And if how would you like to see, my friends? You like to see the easiest method, or you just like to see it with the uh, uh, with the with the UI interface? What do you like to prefer? Because I can do it in both way. Both. Okay. Okay, let me see how the time exists. Okay, UI method. Okay, let's try it with the UI method. Okay, that would be much easier also for all of us to understand, but I can try my best to show you both of it. So now first thing, what if I try to make a list? Okay, in Power Query, whenever you try to make a list, this date will not help me out to make it in a list. Then I need to write a custom function, use some function, not a custom function, but use some function to convert that date into a number and then make it generate a list. So here I will say that change this table. I'm going to change this data type and this data type. And how many of us know that very well that in Excel, every date is a number. Okay, so I'm just going to go here and change this as a whole number. So now you must be worried, okay, oh, what happened to my dates now? No, nothing to worry. We are going to go and add another custom column over here. And let's say call this my dates. And now in this one, I'm going to open curly brackets and I will say start of the year dot dot And again, I'm going to call this attribute. See, it's a very bad habit. I didn't change my name. So you should always properly change your name. But now we know that it's the end of the year and start of the year. And I'm just simply going to say, okay, wonderful. I don't need these two columns. I'm just going to home and remove other columns. Now in my place of my dates, when I click on the list, I got the list of all that sequence generated over here. This is fantastic, my friends. So now I will just select over here, expand it to new rows, and then I will change my data type. I'll force it and I'll let it go as my date. So I have got now data repeated every time, and I got that headphones, what is the sales of the headphones in the whole year of 2014, 15, and like that for the other products. Now let's go and do VLOOKUP. Okay, so this is my sales data is ready over here, and I'm just simply going to go to my product, or I can just go anywhere. Okay, I can just click over here as new and click as merge queries under the home ribbon tab, and I'm going to call my price table. Now my price table, I'm going to compare it with headphones. Okay, and I will save this over here with the product. So this has given me all the match. Now, in fact, rather than doing it over here, I will go to the transform step, transform sample file. Yes, exactly. The transform sample file, I will go over there. So I don't have to touch anything over here in the sales data. So it will go and apply that steps for all the files rather than uh, putting loading the query on 28,000 rows. I can just simply go and put it on the entire data set, which is over here. I think maybe it's 4 to 5,000 records which are over here. So well, I will select over here. Yeah, see 4,700 records we have over here. So instead of applying that step on all 28,000 rows which was over there, I'll just go and apply it on 4,000 and I will get to know the result. So let's go over here, merge queries, and I will say that, okay, product, this is my product. Again, I'll say the price table and I'll select product. Now the beauty of Power Query that you can have two different lookup values. Now I'm going to select with holding my control key, my date, and again I'm going to select that is my order date. So the order date, if the screen is quite visible, so you can see there is a nice, cute number which is coming up over here, which says twos and ones. So it says that first is the headphone, match the headphones, and second is the date. If I do it in another way, like I'll say date and then I'll say product, no, then that is not matching. So we are saying that first compare with the product and then compare it with my dates. And then keep this as a left outer join. And I think in the coming sessions, Raheem is going to explain about the different joins in details. So for this session, we will be looking only this left outer join, and I'm going to say, okay, wonderful. Wow. So is it exciting till now? Are you guys enjoying it? Okay, so I'm just going to select it, the values over here. So we got, in fact, the values. Amazing. So we have the values over here. Now I just need to multiply my quantity by my price. I'm just going to go over here, add columns, and I will just simply say multiplication. That is going to give me my total price. So now I can change it and I will say that total cost. Awesome, awesome. Yes, yes, Muhammad, Praveen, Ramdas, yes, and Muhammad Owais. Thank you. Yes, you are enjoying it. That's cool. That's the beauty of Power Query. It's make things exciting. That's why Excel is exciting. Great. Yes, Ariba. Okay. So we are done now. We have done now. Now, if I go back to my sales data, now if you see over here, I have got that total cost column also over here. That's fantastic. Yes, fantastic. Yes, it's fantastic. Awesome stuff. So, so this is my file path area, and then I've taken my sales data, and then I took my price data. I just transform my price table, and I then go to my sample file, and I just plug my price table over there. Now, in the session, we have talked that we are going to get the data from the web. Yes. So now, unfortunately, in my organization right now, where we got this data, we don't have the data set for the continents. Now I need to go struggle all the way to the internet, and I got this data. Okay, I have this data. I'll take this first. Command C, and let me go over here and Control V. So these are the list of the ISO codes for all the countries, sorry, not the companies. So we can see over here that we have that AFG, and when we go back to our data, we have ESP, that's a country. So that's an alpha code. So whenever you're trying to maintain your data also in your organization, try to use the standard structure, standard recommendation. So it will be very easy when you are trying to clean up some kind of a data. It becomes very easy for you that you can pull the information from anywhere on the online sources, and you can manage to make up your things work. So let's us look over here. Now we have this numeric data, but unfortunately we don't have. But I wanted to show you something in this data, which is really interesting stuff. So let's say right click. I'm just going to make it close and load to, and I want to make sure that this is as a connection only, and we say okay. Okay, you might have come across many times that when you accidentally hit close and load, everything comes up and it gets bumped into our spreadsheet. But nothing to worry, we have an option over here which I recommend everyone to do it that way. We go to query settings, and in the query settings we have this global, and use this specified custom default setting. So what it does, that whenever your data has been getting loaded into your workbook, so it can directly go and load into worksheet. Once you click close and load, it will not get that option, and you can straight away load it into the data model. But I would just like to keep this unchecked, and I'll just select OK. So in case if I have already prepared a query and if it is not saved, then uh, I can just simply hit close and load, and it will not go and bump uh, into the workbook. Yeah, Raheem, thank you. You like the tip, huh? Great. So so I can go and simply go click here, go get data from the web, but there is already an option available over here where I can simply say right click and get the data from the web. So queries, right click, new, and I can go and say that okay from the web. And I'll just paste that URL over here, and we'll say okay. So far, any questions, Raheem? Celia?
Not yet, but I have some questions, so I will ask in the end.
Okay, Shumail Iqbal, he wants to know come again. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to get the data from the web. So there is already an option available over here. You can click get data from the web. If you click the get data from the web, you can straight away paste the URL what is over here, and you can just click OK. So once you click OK, Power Query will connect to that website, and you get this navigator. This is an amazing stuff. So now if you click over here, you have currently the ISO, that's the name of the table. Let's go and look our data which is over here, and you can see that currently that ISO which is countries code which is over here, and we can see some amazing stuff as well. Great country names, and we have another table which is at the bottom all the way down. This is the second table. So it will list out all the tables what are available in your on the website, and it will give it to you, and you have to select the right table what you needed. And you can
So
even
for
have a web view.
so for
Yes,
us in
Raheem?
this way, for us in this way, if I can just add something to it, that, we have a Pakistan Stock Exchange website, and if we can navigate that table link from that stock exchange website, so we can import data live into the Excel, clean that data, and ship and push that data to the data model where the power pivot is, and where we can do the analysis as well. I think we can make the live stock exchange dashboards also as well in the Microsoft, right?
Correct, absolutely right. Like if you have a live data, you're getting it. This will be a live connection source. So if anything gets changed on the website on this Wikipedia, then all the data will get changed also as well on your source table. So you have to be careful when you are even selecting the data. So I will just select transform here. So when I will select a transform over here, I got this nice list of data. Now, again, we have a challenge for cleaning this data. Okay, so let's go and see that what are the fields first we needed. So we are just going to select this over here, choose columns. I find this thing is quite handy because it's give you, if you have a lot of tables in your columns in your data, then you can easily select it from here. Say country, and I need this alpha 3 code. And if you need something else also, you can just select it. So right now I just need this two stuff. Now again, uh, this time I'll be showing it two methods. One is with this time I'm going to show it with two methods. In fact, not that how can we do this thing into one step by writing one simple M code. So this one, any ideas that how can I remove these Amshore, Akroti, ISOs? Any idea, my friends, that how can I remove them?
Unfilter.
Great, filter. Anything else? Unpivot? No, we don't need unpivot, brother. Ariba unpivot? No, no unpivot. Replace? Okay, replace is also one of the option. Great. But here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to say remove the top row. The top row is 1. So I don't need the first row at all. And then I'm going to use this first row as my headers. Now I just need only these AGF, these ISO codes. So I can go over here and say that go and add extract the length of the character. And I'm just going to select over here the length of the character, which is equals to 3. And now I got everything over here. Remove. Now you must have seen that after this change type, I'll just remove the change type step over here. I don't need that, no problem. Delete it. Insert the text length, then I have removed it. I can even move these steps down because until unless if I know that nothing is going to change. Now if you see the things has got broken over here, I need to go and fix that. Select country and alpha. Okay, great. So this is going fine. Now if you see that after removed columns, okay, I have applied 1, 2, 3 steps. Now I could have managed this, okay, on after this one step only. Now right click and I will just write a property. And this is a message for Raheem saying that I love Power Query. Okay, now this is a new feature available in Power Query. I just recently got this update. Earlier it was not possible to comment on your any kind of a step. So here you can even put the comment now, and you can put any comment. So anybody, if his hover his mouse on this one, and he can just come to know the message. So I don't need all these steps over here. I can just simply right click and I will say delete until end. Now, if you see that you get a message and it will say, are you sure? Are you confident that you're going to delete it until end? Yes, my friend, I don't need them. So it has removed the step for that removed column also. I have did it purposely because I wanted to show you that whatever you wanted to remove it, you have to select that next line of that. So I'm just going to select again the country and I'm going to select it over here. And this time I'm going to say that text equals to 3. Now you must be saying, okay, this guy is crazy. He's writing 3. Why he's writing 3? It will not filter. It is going to get blank. Nothing, but I'm just going to alter my M code little. The formula which is over here, text dot length, open parentheses and close parentheses, and I will hit enter. It's still not working. Any idea, my friends, why it is not working? Any guesses? What's the reason? I have written still 3, but it's not working. What could be the problem?
The three might be in a text string or something.
Good, good, good. Very good. Yes, Raheem. We need to set the length. No, we have already set the length, brother, because we have, if you see over here, I'll just zoom my screen. Okay, and okay, I just, okay. If you see, I've just written text dot length. So this custom function has entirely converted my each row of my data into a number text length. Okay, and it has said that every text length which is 3, and as absolutely said right by Raheem and Celia that yes, we don't need that number, and now we see that we have filtered it out. So that one technique which I wanted to show it with this data, and we are going to grab another data where we were talking about the continents. So let's go copy this, come back over here, right click, and I just like to stay organized with my query. So I'll just say new group, and I will say this as web data. It's very good, you know, that you create your folders and you put your queries correctly. So, and I'm going to call this as sample one. Great, sample one, and right click. And now I'm going to show that without going to the Excel interface, how can you get it from the web query here itself only. So you can go right click over here, new queries, and you can say other sources and web. And you can even go here on the home ribbon and you can say web. So we are going to paste that URL over here, and let's look at how does this site looks. So this is quite neat structured data. I don't have to do anything. I don't need to worry about anything. You know, it's in a proper table structure where I don't need to do any cleaning of the data. I can simply go over here, select, and I will say okay. Now it has applied that change type. I can just revoke that change type, and I can just choose my columns, what I want. Just always try to keep the data what you exactly needed. Okay, so it will be very easy and you can work it efficiently with that part. So we have, now this is also text, everything looks good over here, and I will say my region data. Amazing. So this time again, I'm going to go to my sample file. And my sample file, I have these countries. I'm going to go again, merge queries and say merge. and I'm going to say country with my region data, and I will say A3.
It's 2 o'clock.
Must That looks good. So it is going to go and do the match, and it says that yes, all the match has been found, and it will say okay. And then we can expand the table, and I can just say CC, that is the region name. And I will call this as region. Now, my friends, remember that if I would be doing this into Power Pivot, okay, then I would have just simply create the relationships. I would have not merged the queries. I would have not work Power Query for a lot on this one. Okay, I would have just simply created this one, and I would have just created the relationship, and we would have managed that with the measures whatever that we wanted. But right now I just try to get everything at one place, so we can see that how standard way we do it in the pivot I see regular users. So now if I click close and load, I'm not clicking close and load to. Now if I click close and load to, okay, I just want to make sure that I save my workbook. That's great. So we have this web data, we have regional, and let's go back to our sample file. So we got that regions over here. Now, unfortunately, those regions are not quite identifiable. So we have the names over here of those regions. So I'm going to copy this, and in my workbook, existing workbook, okay, so this is my existing workbook, and I'm going to say paste this one over here, and I'm going to convert this data into tables. Command T, my table doesn't have headers. Yes, it doesn't have headers. And this table, I'm going to pull it into the Power Query. Now I can go over here to the price table or any of the table. I can just need to enter it. And I can just say new, and I will call this query as the blank query. And I'll say equals to Excel dot current workbook. Okay, remember, if you are using Excel 2019-16, I think the IntelliSense feature is not available. So you have to be careful with the case sensitive. Okay, it's a Power Query is case sensitive. So if you write like, if I write something like workbook, this will not work. It will say that this function is not available at all. Okay, and if you write like this, workbook, great, we are able to access into the table. Now, when I will click on the table, we got this name. Now I just slightly need to clean my data, where I will go over here and I'll say transform split by delimiter. Now Power Query is smart enough to understand the delimiter. See, I have not written anything over here, and it's smart enough to get that delimiter. And I'm going to split that, and I'm going to trim this one. Format, make it in. Okay, that's where it is. Okay, yes. Clean, trim, and clean. So I don't have any unwanted characters over here. Similarly for this one also, I will say clean and I'll say trim. So this looks good, and it's very important, give your query name. Okay, region names. So you know that exactly when you are doing, when you're checking even your queries, you can know that what is happening exactly. So let's go again over here to the sales data in the sample file. Okay, I can move this. I can just click this one and move it all the way on the top as well. I can just minimize this, or I can just move this guy down. Ah, okay, I can just say move down, that's it. Right click, move down. The mouse is not helping me. Okay, so here we have, again, we are going to go to our sampleware, and this time we are going to go and connect this, go to home, merge query, and I will be selecting my region names, right? Exactly, that was the region name, column 1 with region, and that's the left outer join. It's going to go and yeah, so you got an privacy message over here. Okay, this is because we are getting the data. You can just simply select this one as a private and click as save. So this is sometime when you are extracting some social numbers, that time this privacy error comes up, and I can share you the article in detail in explaining about this privacy. So right now we have applied this one. We will say okay, and let's go over here and see. That was a bad habit. I didn't give my column names. So is this that the correct column which is going to get expand? I hope that will be the right column. Great. So we have that names of Europe and everything being listed over here. Okay. So I can just simply click close and load. And now it's time for us to load the data into our Excel workbook. So in this case, we don't need all these things, so we can just minimize. We don't need the transform one. We just need the sales data, right click, load to, and we'll say table into the new workbook, and we got the data loaded, everything at one place.
Faraz, I have one query.
Hmm. Yes,
Uh,
Raheem.
uh, if you can see on your Excel screen on the right side, we have a queries and connection pane, right? Where we have a different folders and the query which we have just performed. So for
Yes.
example, if we are working on a new file and we want to copy all these steps, so would it be possible that if I right click copy and paste onto the other workbook, these steps will be pasted directly?
Yeah, you can do it. See, there is one way where you can go to advanced editor over here. When you are opening the query editor, okay, you can go to the advanced editor over here, and you can copy the code from here. Like suppose
Okay,
these are the steps which I need to apply, so I can just keep the steps over here. So you mean to say that something like personal macro workbook, right? Like how we have it, right? As such,
exactly.
right now, yeah, right. As such, right now we don't have that personal macro workbook yet in Power Query, but that would be really great to see, that how can we get it.
Yeah, because I was recently working on my one of my client and we have a model on Power Query and Power Pivot. So what I did is rather than doing steps again and again from the very start, I just copy
Mhm.
all these steps from these queries and connections navigation pane, and I just copy that, and it worked very fine.
Mhm.
Your method is also correct to copy the code from the advanced editor and just paste.
I'm losing you, Raheem.
Yeah, I'm saying that one of the recent client, what we did is we copied these steps from these queries and connections, and we pasted on the other workbook, and that works fine.
Yeah, yes. Actually, that's the way that if you're cleaning some kind of a data, otherwise you can create your own custom function. Okay, so you can like make these like into a custom function. Like you can see that how it has created. Power Query has created for us this custom function, this file, which that's the reason I was telling don't touch this file, because this is nothing but it is having that connection to that query. So you can make your own custom function and you can run that n number of times, You can just paste it, go and dump it straight away to the query editor, and it will just work fine. That is
Okay,
not a
okay. Thank
now.
you.
No problem. Okay, so now if you see, my friends, that I have not given my correct data types over here. So when it has loaded in Excel, we know that this is a date, but in fact it has given the numbers. So let me go back again to my sales data, and this sales data is wonderful. Okay, so here now I have this as a date. Now this time I'm not going to use locale. Okay, remember, I'm not going to go and do any changes now in my sample data. Sample file is done. Everything has been done with that. The story ends for the sample file. You don't have to trouble him a lot. Now let's go and talk to the sales data over here. Now sales data, and I will just close it. Okay, in case if you accidentally close this one and you want to get it back, then you can go to the view and you can go to the query settings over here. So you can get it back, okay? And if your formula bar is not enabled, you can click it over here and it will get enabled from here as well. So in fact now, amazing. So we have this data, we'll call this as date, okay? Because I have already forced in the sample area that I told him that query, Power Query, don't mess out anything. This is a locale setting. Follow English Pakistan date. Now this one I can see my date setting, which is over here. Okay, which is the current date, which is month and day and then the year. Then rest other stuff like I can press the control, and again I have this EU region column. In fact, we should give a nice name to the column. I don't like that name of column 1. Okay, and I can straight away I've selected and I can say, and I can say it this as a text. Okay, so Power Query knows that this is a text, and even you have an option to detect data types. Okay, so if you just want to select and detect data types, it will just detect the data types for you. So like I want to detect it, I can just say okay, go ahead, detect it. So it has changed. You can see the data types for it has detected the data types for the selected columns. Again, now if I'll select it, cool. If you see that this data type it has selected as a whole number, and now let's go and say this data type as currency. So this looks cool. And now if you see, now notice the column B, okay? Note the column B. So when I will load the data, close and load, the query is getting refreshed. Cool. Because we have connected the source to the online. So that's why it is going and pushing the data from online and unpivoting it. Sales data, a lot of work. Our data is ready. You can see now, if you have seen that date column, order date column is correctly over here. And let's go and make quickly a nice report. And I don't want to spend my time making a report. I'll just use this new feature called ideas, and I will let the AI engine to suggest me what is the best report. I can use it over here. So right now this data is going and getting pushed to the artificial intelligence server, where ML with the AI and ML, it gives the combination and suggests you what is the best data you can use it for this one. So this is analyzing depending upon the size of your data. We have 26,000 rows over here, but that was pretty quick. So we have all this, which is the most common country. You get all these suggestions. So I'm quite happy with this report, and I would just like to insert it over here. So we have like the country, and instead of country, I would just say the region, because we have worked very hard to get that region. So, okay, so I missed to change the name again. So now if I go and change the name again in the Power Query, now remember that this column 1.2 will move out. So make sure that before you get load your data into the Excel table, make sure that you clear it correctly. And I would just like to have a nice chart. Recommend me a nice chart, dear. Okay, this looks nice. Or I will just say that, okay, fine. This is great. I'm not happy with the product type. I can go over here again, pivot analyze. I can open my pivot this, and instead of product, I'm simply going and mode of here. I would be focusing on order date. Oh, that's oops. So I just that's here, and I can keep it in this fashion. That looks nice. So you can organize the data the way you like it, and if I'm not happy with the chart, you can simply delete the chart and you can go again over here, insert and play with the new chart over here. And we can just keep it over here. Now this is for sales data for 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now let's go. You have worked so much hard. You have worked so hard to get this stuff done. And this is a nice tool by Excel Guru. Okay, if you have it, you can use it. This is really cool stuff where you have all the parameters, like you can make a dynamic calendar table. You have some functions, you can do it really. In fact, a lot of stuff, when you're managing with data model, it gives you the memory management and everything. So I can just take the model summary over here. If I click it over here, I can get my existing model summary. So it will tell me what are the measures. It will tell me that what are in fact the queries are been linked to what sheet. So it's get loaded over here. So you can see it can show you the dependency, and even it can tell you the time it is taken. So it shows you that which are the workbooks are been loaded. So that's quite handy stuff. You can use it, and even you can check your timing for the query. And I will say detail refresh with the chart version, and it will take 5 trials. And it will give us the result. So meantime, what I do, I will just go to my, okay, I think I need to wait. Yes. So actually I should have clicked on standard trial, because that would be quite uh, easy. It has been given us quickly the results. Any questions are there, Raheem? Meantime, you can anything in the question in the chat box.
Not yet. But Shumail has asked that monkey tool is paid or free.
Uh, they have, I think, for one work. Actually the one which I have is a paid one. I brought it the paid one, and this is amazing tool. I think you guys should try it out. And I think they have some trial version as well. So I can share you the link, later on after the seminar, or I can just drop it over here. This monkey
You
tool
have shared
link.
on the chat.
Yeah, so it shows, that time, where the query is spending more of your time, and it can give you a nice report. So you can know that, okay, average time, that, okay, it's 8 seconds, 7 seconds. So first one was like 63 seconds, and then it has jumped down to like 7.3 seconds like that. So let's us add some new data. Now, let me close this workbook, and we have the sales data for 2017, 15 like that. Now, if you see this data, again, we have the same data coming up, and we will select these files, both of them, nothing. I'm just going to drop it into the webinar. I'll go my file, I'll go to my query, and I'll just simply hit refresh. I can go over here data and I can even hit refresh over here. Okay, but I have a shortcut which is over here, so refreshing. So it is grabbing all the data from the new files as well. So approximately, I think there should be like 58,000 rows. Wonderful, great. So we got the new data, and now when I will go over here and simply hit refresh again, we got the data updated for 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 19 as well. So was it exciting, my friends?
Might be a bouncer for many.
Select query, go to other options. Okay, query pane, paste it. Okay, that's yeah, that's the way. Yes, you can do it, Celia. That's absolutely right. Yes. So that's what is from the Power Query from my side to mention it. And there are a lot of things you can do. Every data has its own pattern. You have to spend some time with your data. That is what I can give you. And you can use some these great tools, like you have the DAX add-in as well. And right now we don't have the data model. In fact, if we have a data model, it can really give us a cool figures that how much memory it is using, how much it is dependent, okay, where it has been dependent. And you can see over here the file path is an only connection and it has been linked to these queries. So that's quite great stuff, hard work been done by the creator, who is Ken Pulse of Excel Guru. And one more thing which I would like to show it to you over here. Let's go over here home and okay, let's go data queries connection, and we have this query. And one thing what I would just like to show, that if you have in this option query dependencies, you can even search the query dependencies in the view. Now this is depending upon version, it depends upon your Excel version what it have is. But since I've been using 365 from quite long time, I'm not quite confident that from which version they have stopped, which version they have given this query dependency. So now if you see the query dependency, it gives you the exact overview that you are getting your files from here. This is your file path, and if I click over here, it's just get highlighted and tell me that okay, this query has been connected to all these region. Now if you see this query which was here, it was just connected to only one query, which is this source is just connected to one file. But now this file path has been linked over here, and the region data, the current workbook. So this is quite great to if you're working something and you wanted to break some connection. So like the transform sample table, it's been linked always. So you cannot break this guy. You have sales data, so you cannot break the sales data. So when you're trying to break some connection, that time this is very helpful, or you are trying to build some new connection, you can just go and see the architecture of your query dependency from here. So that's quite handy. And this is the area where you have column profile and column distribution. Like in column profiling, you can see column profile. We have like, if you click column profile, you can get this nice chart over here, which is that okay, how much shipments are for the air and sea. And even you can then change this group by as text. So it will just give you some text related information, that how many characters are there, 3 and 4, and the 3 is the highest one which has. So that's 66% of our data is covering 3 characters, and the rest 33% is for the text length with the 4. So those something is might be very handy just before you load your data into the pivot table. So let's jump to the another part, if the time is existing, are we okay with the time, Raheem? So I
Yes,
can
yes, we have
quickly show about the Power Automate, I can quickly talk
sure.
about Power Automate. And by the way, I'll be sharing the file with Raheem, so Raheem, he can share it with you. And I'll just switch off my system from here, and let's focus only on the Mac system now. Okay, so we are done with this, and this link, even I'll be sharing the link to Raheem so he can give you with the entire detail. I'll share you the handouts of this PowerPoint as well. And so let's talk about Power Automate. How many of us know what is Power Automate? Let's see some of my friends who can support me on this. We go on forms, great, 16, two of the one. So can you just guess what is Power Automate? Any guesses? Any guesses on Power Automate, what it could be? Oh, thank you, Asad. Glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for staying here. Power Automate. So, okay,
I
Power
think you
Automate.
can
Yes.
start with the basics that everyone can understand because mostly are very new to that.
Okay, yes, we can see from the session, that there are two users. I was expecting them to speak.
The first one was me. Yes.
First one, I think that's Celia, and I think the second is, I think both of you, and I think there would be definitely some other of our friends who has been knowing about this Power Automate. So let me quickly talk about Power Automate. What is Power Automate? Power Automate is an automate function, an option available, which is earlier called as flows by Microsoft, where it take cares of what is important and rest it automates. Like suppose you wanted to send an email, where earlier we used to use mail merge from Excel, and we used to do it. And that time, the challenge what we had with the Power Automate, with the mail merge, that you have to be available to do that. But in case of Power Automate, you can just set up your steps, that you can ask that Power Automate, okay, do this kind of steps, and it will just follow the steps, and it will run the query. It will run the steps, and it will execute the task. Basically, it will allow you to automate the task. If you have such kind of task where you're sending every month bulk emails, you are having a bulk contacts update, you might be having some emails where you wanted to say the status update, you have more than 100 connectors available in the Power Automate, in fact, uh, which can handle the task automatically. So I will quickly jump you to the demo, and I will not take much of your time. I know everybody must be tired. It's an iftar time over there, so I'll just make sure that I'll do it quickly as possible. So right now I'm trying to send a file to Raheem, which is over here. We have a list of Excel files over here, list of email list, which is over here. This is for Raheem. And in our organization, like we are sending an email to all our employees where we wanted to inform them something that about their appraisal, that or about the session, let's say that I wanted to send it to Raheem and all the people and the organizers, that okay, fine, this has been done and completed, great arrangements and everything. And I have this email ID over here. Now this is the email what I wanted to send it, and this is the names of the participant or the user who I wanted to address it, and the email ID. Now right now I'm using only one email ID because I just wanted to show it on my screen how it will look. The first thing what is very most important is that your data should be into an Excel table. Okay, so to convert your data into Excel table, you can just keep the data, you can keep it and press Control T, and it will convert your data into Excel table. And I always prefer to give my table nice name, and I'll call this as email list, and I'll call close, and I'll save. Now this is right now on my desktop. I have to make sure that this file stays on my OneDrive. So I'm just going to go and drag and drop it on my OneDrive. Okay, how many of us use OneDrive? I should have asked that question in my points, because I find many users complaining about that they lost their file, the file is got corrupted, it's got damaged, I cannot repair it. You should use OneDrive, my friends. Okay, this is one tip what I can give you, where you can save your file on OneDrive and it can just create the version history. I'll just quickly show it to you. This is very important, Raheem. I wanted to show it, address it, because many users I see on blog posts, they keep complaining, I lost my file. My file got damaged. So whenever you are working with Excel online on the data, and if you have Office 365, it will automatically create different versions of your file. So accidentally, if your file is closed or if it is damaged, then you can go to the latest version of the file and you can get the data. So here we talk about Power Automate. This is how Power Automate looks. Earlier it was called as flows. Now they have changed it to Power Automate. And even you can go to your Outlook, Outlook over here. And from here you can access, click all apps, and you have access to Power Automate. Here it says written as flow. And this is my OneDrive. Now I don't need anything from my OneDrive. I just need to focus on my Power Automate area. So this is a screen where we have home and you have templates as well over here. So you can get different templates. Like if there are a lot of templates available, you can see what is best suits for your requirement. Like if you have a file in your Dropbox, you can automatically move from the Dropbox and keep it on OneDrive. Or if you have some email attachment coming in Outlook, you can extract the attachment and keep it on your OneDrive. So those kind of stuff earlier we used to do it with complex VBA, that VBA was to do it. But with this one, you can just do it just by clicks. And I will show you a very simple flow where we are going to create it now. So this is a flow area where you have home, you have actions, you have approval. This one is for the organization. I'm using Office 365 home, where I don't have the access for this one. But the business, where you can even create your vacation flows, like you have a flow where you want to send an approval for the manager that's saying that, sir, please approve my vacation. So he will get a flow notification saying approve or reject, and that flow can work accordingly. So if you see over here templates, so we have a lot of templates, and I encourage you guys that you go and search, try to dig more about it. And it is the future, I can say that automation, and especially during times of COVID, we need to do a lot of automation tasks, and you can do it with this kind of stuff. So you can see that it triggers the flow from the BI, Power BI, and data driven alert, and then you can even get the responses from form. Okay, now this response what I have got it, and if I have the 365 business version, I could have taken straight away the details and put it right away into my forms. So that is super amazing. You don't need to go and extract that data, put it in Excel, then put it on your OneDrive. No, you can straight away send it, like somebody gets registered, you can do it. This is the data connectors AI builder. Okay, this is in Celia last week's session in Toronto meetup. Dennis has given a really great talk about AI builder, and he has showed really some cool stuff, that how can you take the data from the invoice itself of his bill, and he can pull the information from the scan PDF. And this is the learn section where you get a lot of resources over here. So let us quickly create our flow now. So you have different triggers. Okay, you have an automated flow that you can say that, okay, fine, certain thing happens. If I drop a file in my OneDrive, then this flow should trigger. There is the instant flow that I have to trigger it manually. That will go manually. I have to monitor that one. There's a schedule flow which is like you have to give a date or a time, then or a month, then only it will get scheduled up. So there are business process flows and UI flows which are there, but we will just talk only about these three right now. So we are going to use the instant flow, and now instant flow automatically comes and say me that, okay, this is my flow which is over here. I have to give a nice name to my flow so that it can work correctly. So we'll call this as email Excel basement, and I will say this as a manual trigger, okay? And I will say create. Now the next step, what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this flow with my Excel online. So I'm going to say, because that Excel workbook, we have kept it on our OneDrive, right? So not the business one, we are be using OneDrive. So if you have a business account, then you can free to use the business, which has some more amazing features. So we are just going to select OneDrive. And now in the OneDrive, we have an option called, we wanted to pull the list of the rows. So list rows, there will be some option over here, list the row of the present table. Yes, this is the one which I'm looking. Now Excel Online is asking me to sign in because I have not yet signed in any time for Excel Online from here. So I'm just going to say sign in, and it will ask me to enter my email ID and password. Okay, and it will say that it's going to access it, and you have to click yes. So now it's going to create the connection, and now I am having the access to my OneDrive file, and now you can see this is that file which is there, email list. I can select that email list, and that email list will load what are the tables. So if I was having multiple tables, it would have shown multiple tables for us over here. So I'll select the email list, and I will say the new step which is there now, I'm going to apply an email over here. So I'm going to say email. Oh no, I'll use Outlook. So even, okay, so even you can use Gmail also. You can connect with Gmail as well. You can take the data from Excel Drive, and I have never tried it because I always use Outlook, but there's an option for Gmail, and you can connect it from there. So right now I'll take Outlook. Okay, I have not taken business. There's a difference between Outlook and Outlook 365. Outlook 365 and Outlook. Outlook 365 is for the organization account for work and school, and of Outlook this is available. And remember, this is free, in fact. So that's amazing, so you can try it out. So send an email. Okay, so this will be send email, and the email will be, I'll click on dynamic content, and now you can see this is the email over here. And again, now when I will come over here, current, specify the subject, update about the event, and I will say the name. Okay, so name, this was a name over here, and the body, hi. Okay, I'll just make it bigger, and I will say hi, the name, so hi Raheem, and I will say the email body, regards, Faraz Shaikh. Okay, so this is what it is done, and let's save this flow, and I will cross my fingers and I hope my flow will work correctly. So we can go over here, test and perform test, save and test. So it is signing in, continue, run the flow. Now done, and you can see I start getting my email. So I was not having anything in my email. Now I start receiving the email from excelexciting.com. And when we go back over here, you can see that the text was succeed. Now in case if I want something else also, some other names need to be added, then I need to go back to my OneDrive, I need to add my names, and I can do that accordingly. So this is just a tip of Power Automate. Now just imagine, with these amazing connectors you can do magic, my friends. So there are some business, there are premiums, and there are even data AI connector which can let you connect and do a lot of stuff. And by the way, whenever I publish my YouTube video, I just pull the data of the YouTube video and put it in one of my Excel file and get that one. So I do a lot of stuff with that. Even I'm publishing sometime my LinkedIn articles and through Power Automate, which is in my other account. Those flows are available in my other account. So that's all about Power Automate in a very short and sweet, and you can keep exploring it, learning it, and this is a very great place to learn. And you can feel free to ask question about it on the community site also, which is over there, and you can ask Raheem, myself, Celia. There are experts who are available over here. They can even help you out. You can drop your queries on the forums of Excel Basement or anywhere. We are one team. That's why in my website logo, I have written this as not I make Excel exciting, but it says we make Excel exciting. So that's all for me, Raheem.